Now we're going to make another display for the analog input. I'm just going to show you that you can duplicate a screen. Just to make this go a little faster, we can right-click on screens under the base screens and click duplicate. When you duplicate a screen, it changes to the new screen, and you can tell that based up here in your title bar. So we're looking at screen 2 right now, and we can switch back to screen 1 because we want to make it so that we can navigate between the screens. So we're going to add a quick button, go to screen. Yeah, and we're going to tell it that it's going to go to screen 2 on text. Analog, and let's make it bold. And so it's going to screen 2. We can change this screen name. Let's go ahead and rename this to be analog. And we can rename screen 1 as well. Digital. And so when we look at this analog button now, it's going to screen name analog. And it's screen number 2. We can't change the number, but we can change the name. Alright, now let's actually edit the analog screen. So we need to change all of our labels, and I'm going to move our objects over here for now and just kind of get them out of the way while we edit some labels. Alright, so our title is going to change to analog inputs. Input is going to become input values. We need to expand it a little bit. X0 is going to be the raw input. Again, we need to expand it. And X1 is going to become scaled input. Let's expand. All right, and I'm going to move these all up a little bit and then actually copy them and paste because we've got another section. So input, the second input values is going to become the scaling. Raw input is going to be engineering high, and then low. And let's go ahead and align all of these guys. We're going to align them to the right. And then I'm going to use some arrow keys to move them over a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to move over into these outputs. And so we're going to call this limits now. Y4 is going to become time limit Y2. And let's make that a little longer. Y5 is going to be the low limit. And these guys can move over a little bit. And then we got to create one more. This is going to be enable limits. So now we're going to add some numeric displays. This is the numeric display. Right above it is the numeric entry, and the difference between these is that the display is only going to display the value in a register, whereas the numeric entry would allow you to edit the value as well as display it. Right now we just want some displays to display our raw input and scaled input. So let's make this bigger. We're going to increase the size to 10 by 14. We're going to make the tag be our raw input int. Alright, and so what I'm noticing here is actually this is one of those duplicate tags that I was talking about. And so I know that I must have forgotten something. We're going to go find out what happened here. And so logic block 1, and that's right, the limits are in the subroutine. Oh, and look at that, this is that lesser than instruction, and I forgot to set the type to float. So before I changed it to float, both of these were set to be scaled input _2 and low limit _2. Those were the duplicate tags created. They're at the same memory address, but they were 2-byte tags as opposed to these 4-byte tags. And so we fixed this test here, but let's go ahead and go back into the tag database. And let's go ahead and hide our system tags. And we'll scroll down to find, and so here's that scaled input 2, which is 2 bytes in length, versus the real scaled input, which is 4 bytes in length. And we can go ahead and just delete these guys, because they should not have been created. Alright, and then let's go back to our analog screen and let's set this raw input tag. So that's going to be the raw input int, and we only want it to be 5 digits in length. Number of digits 5. Oh, actually, I guess we were going to set it to just the actual raw input. Channel 0 input register. Alright, and now let's create a copy of this. And so this one is going to be a float. And we're going to look at tag scaled input. And again, we only want it to be 5 digits long, but we actually want it to display 2 digits after the decimal point. So that's going to be our numeric displays. We're actually going to use numeric entries for our engineering high and engineering low, and this is going to allow us to change the actual scaling factor during runtime. So again, we're going to make them bigger. Engineering high. And now we can set it to float. And we're going to do the same thing with the format. 2 digits after, and 5 digits total. And let's copy this guy and paste him for the engineering low. Change the tag to engineering low. And let's put it over here, because we can change the limits that it's testing. Make this one low limit. And now let's edit these objects. We have these 2 bit lamps. Let's have it display the output. So this is Y2. So we're going to do output coil 2. Slot 1, output coil 2. This toggle bit is actually going to control the same thing. We're going to use this to show how these outputs being turned on and off in a subroutine allows for when they can be modified. So we're going to put in this same one for the toggle bit. And I'm going to paste here again and change it to 3. And copy and paste into the toggle bit as well. And then finally, I'm actually going to copy one of these toggle bits and use it for the enable inputs. So we're going to change the tag to be enable inputs, or enable limits. And then finally, we just need to add in a button so that we can get back to digital. So let's make this. And it's going to go to screen 1, which is the digital screen. So we're going to compile, compilation successful, and let's save.